When did you first find out United were an option? And how difficult was it for you to say yes and leave Everton? Because most people we speak to are either players that have come through the academy here and so this is their dream, or players who maybe played abroad and their dream was just get to England, get to the Premier League. But for you, you were at your boyhood club. So it's sort of a different situation where actually you were choosing to leave.
Yeah, it's not so black and white as that.
No, of course.
Yeah, but I knew it was an option before Euro 2004. I knew that Man United wanted to sign me, and I think going to the Euros, doing well there, probably added a bit more money onto the transfer fee. But yeah, I broke my foot, and I found out a few things that Everton were really struggling at the time for money, so I found out a few things that they were listening to offers from people as well. So they were trying to push me to sign for Chelsea because they were going to pay the most money. But once, obviously, I knew that United were interested, so I wanted some confirmation that they did want to sign me. And once I knew they wanted to sign me, that was the only club to work with Alex Ferguson, to play alongside the likes of Giggs, Roy Keane, Scholesy, Rio, these players. I knew this is where I wanted to go. It was, 40 minutes from me home where I grew up anyway as well. So it was the perfect fit for me. And United actually wanted to wait a year. So they wanted to wait till the following year and then Newcastle come in. But it gone so, the talks with Everton, with myself, had gone too far there. I couldn't wait another year. I couldn't stay another year at Everton. So I was prepared to go to Newcastle for that year, but so I spoke to them. We spoke about salary, and what I wanted in there was, if I go there after a year, if Man United come in, then you have to let me go.
Wow.
So Newcastle were agreeing to that, and then obviously United, I went back to United and said, listen, if you don't do it now, I'll go to Newcastle with this clause in place. So then I think United obviously didn't want me to go there. So they come in then.
I never heard of that before.
No.
I suppose it's kind of like going on loan.
Yeah, well, that's what it would have been like, I guess, wouldn't it?
For a team and going on loan.
Would that have been a transfer fee as well then?
Yeah. So, but it was basically whatever Newcastle paid for me, United would have paid a year later.
Over.
What were your initial conversations with Sir Alex like?
Good. It was a bit intimidating. Yeah, I think he's someone I've watched my whole childhood growing up and seen him on TV and winning trophies, and then to be in front of him talking about coming to play for him was weird. But yeah, the minute I spoke to him, I knew I wanted to come here and I wanted to play for him. He was the main reason. He was the reason, basically, I wanted to come and play for Man United, to play for him. That was the main reason.
What about all your mates back home?
I didn't care.
Did they not say anything to you?
No, the only people I spoke to was obviously me and Clean were young at the time. I spoke to Clean and told her this was what I was doing, and I spoke to my parents because I knew the impact of a Scouser leaving Everton to come to Manchester. I knew it was going to be a difficult moment. Yeah. So,
and was it a difficult moment?
I spoke to, not for me, for them. For Colleen's parents, my parents. The houses, the walls were getting spray painted, Judas, and so for them it was more difficult because they're obviously still in Liverpool. Yeah. So, and to be honest, it was. I'd go back to my parents' house and to Colleen's parents' house, but it probably took 4 or 5 years before I actually went back there and went to a restaurant or went out in Liverpool, because it was I was quite hot-headed. Yeah. I remember going back after about a year and I was on the M62, and when you get to the end there was a couple of lads in the car. I was on my own and they were shouting out the window, giving me a bit of stick. But then when we went through, we come off the M62 onto Queen's Drive, and we stopped at the light again. So we were off the motorway, so I jumped out and opened the car door. So if you want to say something, get out the car and say it to me now. and he completely like went quiet, whatever.
That was good.
Yeah, but that I knew if I went to a nightclub at that time in Liverpool,
That was it.
100% it would have been fighting.
Can you talk us through the ripped shirt that you wore on your debut and what it was like to make your debut for United and your debut in the Champions League and hit a hat-trick?
Yeah, the ripped shirt one's an easy one. I've been injured since the Euro, so I think it was 2.5 months. So I'd done a lot of work in the gym and my neck wasn't fitting.
Is that really what it was?
So that's all that was.
Fat neck.
It fitted in, but it was like really tight. So I think I need to do something. Yeah, so I ripped. I just ripped it to make sure I was comfortable. But yeah, I remember the build up to the game because I think it was Middlesbrough, the game before. I remember pestering the manager saying, "I'm fine, let me play, or let me be on the bench, I'm fine." And I think he was going to put me on the bench, and he said, "Do you know what, just leave this game, get another couple of days training in, and I'm going to start you in the Champions League." So I was like, fine, trained, and then obviously the game coming, I was just so excited to be playing football again. I hadn't played, obviously, since the Euros, and to be stood in the tunnel, I could feel and hear the anticipation from the crowd, and I knew it was a big night for me because, as I said before, being a Scouser playing for Man United, I knew I had to win the fans over, because if it didn't go well, I was probably a player who was going to get given less time than maybe someone else was because of that. So, but yeah, I never thought, obviously, my first game would end up the way it did.
Did you ever worry that you weren't going to win the fans over because you were from Liverpool?
That was in the back of my head, yeah. It was something which I thought about and was thinking. But then, so it was almost like I was talking to myself in some ways, where I'm like, I know what football fans want to see, so...
You believed in your ability enough that would win over?
Ability aside, I knew I worked hard, I knew I give everything for the team, and I know fans, they respect that, they expect it. So as long as you're doing that, I knew my ability would get me to a place where that's the basics I need to do, is work hard. But I knew if I played to the ability, I expected myself that naturally that relationship would grow and get better.
So I messaged someone today saying I was doing this, and turns out they're a huge fan of yours, and they said, I've got a question, please ask him this. So this is from Wes Brown. He says, who burnt my trainers? He gave me no context for that, but he asked me to ask you.
There was a few times things happened to his trainers and his clothes, so it's 100% it was me or Fletch. Or probably both of us. But no, I remember he come in a few times, and obviously he's worked with Wes as well now, so you know what he's like. And he come in these brand new white trainers, and he's walking around the dressing room with them, and he's happy with himself. So me and Fletch went and got a big knife from the kitchen. So we've done like a perfect cut right down the middle of his trainers, and then pushed it back together. So he's gone in the shower. So me and Fletcher, me and Fletcher used to sit next to each other in the locker. So we sat there, just sat back looking like as if we're talking, but looking over. So he's put his clothes on and he's ready. Then he's got to pick his trainers up by the heel, and he's just got like half a trainer there. He was fuming. And then we used to play, if he come in, used to wear a lot of white t-shirts, so we'd get strawberries and play darts with his t-shirt and stuff. But yeah, it was me and Fletch was one of us, definitely.
What was it like winning the Champions League? Helen mentioned the Champions League. So how do you feel that final went, and what do you remember of it? It
was the longest day ever. What was it, 11 o'clock kickoff?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
And for me, that's an absolute nightmare, because them night kickoffs, I don't sleep.
Mm-hmm. You not have a little nap in the day, no?
How do you fill your day then?
Yeah, what do you do?
Just watching my laptop. I remember I watched Sister Act.
Good choice. One or two?
One. No, it's two, innit?
Two's the skill one?
Two was, yeah.
Just clarifying, before winning the Champions League, you just sat and watched the Sister Act.
That's a good way to relax.
Because
That's good.
I'll watch. If I can, I'll put a movie on and or watch something on YouTube or just to like take my mind off things and whatever. But I just remember it's just been the longest day ever, really, and just wanting the game to come. And then obviously when the game came, went to extra time, so it was again a long game.
Do you know as you're thinking through the day, watching Sister Act and all stuff like that? Is your mind on the game as well, thinking, are you playing against John Terry and those type of players, how to get the best out of them, or
I think
get the best against
less
them?
so because we knew Chelsea inside out, so less so than if it was a foreign team, where you'll probably be looking at clips and you'll still know the players, but you don't know them as well as you know the Chelsea lads. So we knew what to expect with Chelsea. We knew, I knew how their defenders' strengths, weaknesses inside out as well. So it was less so, but I think the important thing was just not to let your mind wander. And the big thing I always have it still to this day, is I never think about winning the game. I'm always thinking about what happens if we lose and that feel of losing the game. So it's more about me just trying to control them